Good morning, guys, and welcome to today's episode of Market Check, brought to you by BB. There is no second best daily YouTube live stream to talk about these markets. Welcome, guys. I hope everybody has had a great start to their week. We are officially at the midway point. Happy Wednesday, one day removed from the ETH ETF. Not too many conclusions that we can draw from that yet, but of course, you guys better believe that we're going to be talking about that and, of course, everything else that we're seeing in financial markets later today. But I'm Snorlax. You guys also know me as Tommy, joined by Max, Jackus, Tucker, and Dr. Will's Outlook. Welcome, guys. I hope everybody, just like the audience, has had a great start to the week and a great start to the day. Will, I wonder if you have a breakfast burrito or not. Maybe not. But either way, guys, real quickly, before we can start cooking, before we can start sharing that alpha, those big juicy breakfast burritos, we always appreciate when you guys can smash that like button for us, and that you guys did a really good job yesterday. I don't think we asked you a single time, and we actually had a pretty impressive like button number yesterday live on stream. So shout out to you guys for ETF day showing up. I'd love if we could do it again. I'd love if we could do it again. But as I always say, it means a lot to us that you guys are not just liking the content, but also that you're showing up here every day, just like us as a member of the community. Welcome, guys. But let's get into the markets. Obviously, we are seeing a bit of red across the board, really more so in equities than crypto, right? There's this pretty resilient level of strength that we are seeing thus far from crypto, such as Bitcoin, Sol. Certain ETH derivatives like our fan favorite, of course, Pepe is showing a lot of strength here, locally speaking as well. In the face of a day where you have the S&P and the Nasdaq both down almost 1.5% or more, which is a very, that's a pretty red day for crypto to really not be responding. So is one of these markets telling a lie? Maybe one of them is lagging. I guess we'll see. I know that that's definitely something I'm sure we'll talk about later today, but we are starting to see a little bit more volatility in the equity market. So I do think it is worth discussing. But welcome, guys. How are we feeling about the price action that we're seeing, not just in crypto, but also, of course, a massive.
Is Tommy lagging, or is that just me?
No, he's lagging.
It's over, man. He's completely frozen.
So I told you guys, tell him don't buy the Solana phone.
Wow, man. Tommy's internet is like he's got 1G internet connection right now. Yep, now he's
I was
spinning.
checking my connection if it's me, man.
No, it's him, man. Look, he's got the spinning wheel on his picture now.
It's over. It's like
he may never come back from this, man. That was terrible. That was. I mean, to have your internet rugged at the end of your introduction.
He's trying to talk, isn't he?
He's probably talking right now. He probably still thinks he's cooking, and he's he has no idea. That's the saddest thing about when something like this happens, is that you could be like 80% into a cook session, about to drop the hammer, and then rug. It's basically like the equivalent of the 69K deviation that we had the top of last bull market. You're like, here comes 100K. And then rug. Oh, he may be back.
I'm back.
Oh, he got rug, but he is back. He opened
I am back.
All right.
I was just about to ask you guys the age-old question, what are you seeing in the markets? But I did kind of want to set the stage a bit, right? We did have the ETH ETF yesterday. We are seeing some strength from majors in the face of obviously a lot of equity weakness so far. Is one leading or lagging? I'd love to know kind of y'all's thoughts on the relationship between obviously these two asset classes, as well as fake rug. Yeah, man, I would if Costco wasn't like 20 minutes away from me. But what are y'all's thoughts on the price action that we've seen? Not just this morning, but obviously over the last 24 hours, because the ETH ETF did trade for a good few hours after we got off stream yesterday.
Well, Tommy, I wanted to quickly respond to your question about which market is lying. So Dixie red, equities red, Dixie red, crypto green. Seems the correlation is being respected in crypto. So I'm going to go ahead and say crypto is telling the truth here, brother. That's what I'm going to go with. But yeah, this is a bloodbath. This is an absolute bloodbath in equities.
Tesla is down minus 12% just today, gapping down 8%.
They missed on like EPS. Is that really it? Like, where's Tesla? There. Good God, bro.
Damn. Yeah, it was funny. I woke up this morning. I felt like I went to, or at least when I checked the prices of equities yesterday before the, because you can see the after hours until the daily close. Tesla was down like 6%. And then I wake up this morning expecting the same. And I'm like, oh, damn, Tesla's down 12%. When that happened?
I think you're kind of Mag 7, like, are coming into areas where they could bounce, right? Potentially, but I'm not talking about Nvidia. I'm talking about the others, but
I think the AI.
What do you think? Sorry, I mean, just not to jump like between individuals. Let's start with Tesla. What do you guys think there with the recent PA?
I mean, here's the thing with Tesla. Like, Tesla it looks like brutal, right? Today, but technically we are coming back in to retest like a very obvious SR level. Yeah, Tucker has that drawn. So I don't know. I mean, I don't trade Tesla. I keep an eye on it because it's such a cult stock and it's, I mean, pretty large market cap now, but I don't know. I guess I wouldn't. Here's the thing, like, you look at the chart, I'll tell you the news, right? Okay, so we got a knee-jerk reaction down. I kind of ignore earnings mostly and just look at levels. So it's like, would I want to short into horizontal SR and diagonal breakout retest? Probably not. I'd say if you lost that green line and tuck back underneath, then maybe. Tucker's candles are such an awful color. I can't even see today's candle, but no, it's actually, we need to have a company discussion about your candle color.
We need to have an intervention.
Yeah, I've tried to jab at you on the show before to get you to change them, but you just insist on having neon blue and purple.
clean.
I can't help you. I need you to find it within to change eventually. But if you were to lose that green box, then I'd say it looks cooked. But right now, I mean, you're coming into an area of interest, even if it's a very aggressive way to get there, right?
Yeah. I'm looking to add on because I made a fat back down there at like 160, 150. But I think I'm gonna add more, but like not sure exactly where.
So Jack, it seems like your bias towards equities in general is exercising caution around here. Why would you feel motivated to add on to a stock that typically only performs well when stocks go risk on, if you're feeling as though the overall market warrants maybe risk off or being cautious?
Yeah, because I said that I think this will still take some time, right? And we will see like there is a different take when you look at the whole equity market, and there is a difference when you look at an individual stock. So I think that Tesla can still do well given how it behaved, but maybe I'm wrong on that one, and Tesla goes to shithole as well.
I kind of think the Nasdaq has another like 2% to go, honestly. I like the Nasdaq down at like 19,000.
We were here legit yesterday with Thomas saying that we think that this little floor that it has is going to get raped, and it did today.
Fill the gap, baby.
I was saying that I'm liking the level of 18,700 for bonds.
On QQQ, for me, I like 455. 455.
Yeah, that's the same for Nasdaq, basically.
Yeah, there's like so many different ways to look at the Nasdaq. There's like NQ1 exclamation point, like the continuous futures contract. There's NDX. There's NAS 100 USD. There's QQQ. So
Matt, I have a question
for me.
Yes.
Oh, okay. How can I help you, Will?
When is the next Great Depression? Because I keep seeing it spinning around Twitter now.
Great
30s.
Depression, as in like 1928 style Great Depression.
Like bread lines, it's hanging out in the Nevada heat, 150 degrees, all that stuff. And housing crash combined.
I mean, I hope there's a housing crash just because I want to buy a house, but I don't think we have the backdrop that really warrants bread and soup lines like the 1928 style Great Depression. But I mean, I would say there's going to be some turbulence at some point in the next couple of years. I just don't think it's here.
I was really hoping for a Great Depression. I was going to help participate in making the soup and the bread. But apparently
that's so generous of you, Will. It's just so kind of you.
There we go. That's it. Hang on. Here, I'll tell you, Will. I'll tell you right now.
Here we go.
There it is.
Oh, yeah. You were telling me about this yesterday, Tucker.
Okay. 2035 is the next panic. There you go.
Isn't that the next parabola in Wabi's words?
Well, hang on. It looks like 2026 is a little correction there, Tucker, like an intracycle correction.
You guys got to learn how to read this thing.
Well, I think the trow is supposed to be the panic,
looks
right?
Looks like 2007 was a minor one too there.
Yeah, look, exactly. No, this is when B is when you want to sell. Okay. B is years of good times, high prices, and time to sell. So 2026 is when you jeet. Okay. 2023 was a buy. This is a yeet, and this is a crash.
I actually lined up a scenario for 2026 in the Discord call this morning. If you were there,
And this is from 1875.
So you're stating that we're not going to have a Great Depression yet, and I have to wait still?
Yeah, you're gonna have to wait till about 11 years, Will.
Damn, man. It's unfortunate. I hope I'm still around for that. These are epic times. Yeah, so I mean, since we're not going to see a Great Depression, I guess CT lied to me. But I mean, nothing new there. So I mean, at this point, what is the expectation? I mean, that's a lot of upside. It looks like until we hit the next Great Depression.
Well, look, all this is saying is you bid pullbacks from 2023 to 2026, and then you short tops from 26 to 32. And then you probably buy until 35, and then you short everything, and it's over, and it just repeats.
I suppose it doesn't make much sense because if you look at the chart, it kind of lines up, but it also doesn't, right? Because if you're gonna look at like it says that the Great Depression was supposed to be 1927, but that's actually when the bull market was like starting, and the Great Depression actually came July 29, August 29. So that's kind of like 2 years late. So if you sold everything in 27, you still had to wait, right? So, and then if you bought in 31, you basically had to endure another like 75% drop. So
you did, yeah. You got destroyed.
Yeah, so like if you will think of it, right, it will kind of like line up, but also not line up at all, and that's the problem with all of these kind of cycles.
It lines up. It for sure lines up. 2007, get out. 2019 was a year before COVID. All right, you're a year off. Who cares?
That's what I'm saying. It kind of lines up, but also doesn't.
2022, you really should have bought rather than 2023. All right, maybe you sell it in 2025. Either way, you're good for now.
I don't know. Like I tend to think of like these mid years, like mid-decade years, as like your scenario where you don't actually have to like look for anything crazy. It's almost like every decade. Think about it: 2000, 2008, 2020, so on and so forth. Like these are not 4-year cycles to the next black swan. It's almost a decade to the black swan if you wanted to get technicals, involved with that. And so if that's the case, then, if 2020 was the last black swan, what should be the expectation here? 8 to 10 years, you're not going to see a black swan until the end of this decade, somewhere around 2030, 2028.
Okay. So
Interesting
you're saying
conversation to start the
markets
show.
up only till the decade?
No. So there'll be a pullback. There'll be a bear market. Again, I think you should treat crypto accordingly. 3 years up, 1 year down, and just bid through those 3 years. Get out before the 3 years hit. Ride the bear market down for the 1 year, and then re-enter again on your 3 year up. And that will line up.
okay. So I like this chart, Tucker. I kind of think this is what we're gonna do. Like we need to have one final. Like I think it comes soon. I think QQQ bounces soon, maybe another 2% lower. Everything gets sent all at once. Everything gets sent. Nvidia is going to put in like a manic bull trap to the upside. IWM price discovery, Bitcoin price discovery, shit coins get sent left and right. And then there's a profit taking event at some point, mid-cycle correction, 3/4 cycle correction, whatever you want to call it. And then Trump probably wins and we just have a repeat of 2022 and 2023, you know?
A mid-cycle.
That's my thoughts too.
I'm just ridiculously bullish, man. Like
Same
just
here, brother. Same here.
like I'm just concerned about not having enough exposure, and I'm already very overexposed. You know, truthfully. Call me Moon Boy if you need to. You can cope how you need. I'm bullish.
Max, what if you get a 10% pullback?
On what?
Does that make you a LARP on the
On
market?
what? On what?
Make you a LARP.
10% pullback on what though? That's the thing.
Something you're not buying like the S&P?
If stocks pull back 10%, that might be slightly concerning. If crypto pulls back 10%, what are we even talking about? I don't want to see the Nasdaq or S&P 500 yeet 10%. That's too big in my opinion. Something went wrong there. All right.
I think
Nasdaq is already at 7.5.
What is?
Nasdaq is already at 7.5%.
Yeah. Okay. So it needs to bottom soon. I don't really want to see too much deeper. I don't think we should get too much deeper.
Yeah, I think 10% drop is a good one for a bounce as well on Nasdaq.
Like I just like looking at QQQ, I would expect I might even long some just because the contracts will be so beaten up. Just under 10%. So like if QQQ is down at like 456, I like that spot a lot, which would be like just over 9% from the all-time high. That's okay. But you get deeper than that, then I start to feel like you see some structural breaks and like it's not so great in my opinion. Because we've seen pullbacks for the Nasdaq in recent years of, 10%, 8%, 10%, and it's just part of a trend, right? Like even the one that QQQ had back in March and April, it's like 8%, give or take. And then the one right before we got the Fed pause was like 11 or 12%, right? Which is pretty outrageous. But you really don't want to see too much more than that, I feel like. But this is totally like we are in a structured uptrend, like no doubt about it. And it's probably going to be as simple as this. I'm going to share my screen real quick.
Somebody put a link in the comments, Max.
Like looking at QQQ, like it's probably as simple as like the meme trading view trend line make bounce, right? Like it probably is just like this. And then it just turns back around like this. And then on top of that, you have, I would say this is like your most obvious support right here. And then this is your, area of serious interest, like anywhere within here. But like, I'd like to see this region hold. So I feel like you start bidding in here, right? Like you want to bid this spot. Trading view trend line make bounce. Kind of a meme.
That's legit the spot I was calling for the other days.
Yeah, it looks good. I might even take some like It'd be interesting to take some like end of October, like QQQ 520s or something. Because if we get like a big bounce at the very end of the Fed pause, right? Like down here, these QQQ calls for Q4 are going to be, or even end of Q3 are going to be so battered and bruised. You could probably pick them up really, really cheap and play for them up here, play for a big, huge bounce from like 455 to 520. Probably 10 or 15x at least on those end of Q3, early Q4 contracts. Kind of nice.
I
Kinda
just
like
I just wouldn't be in a rush to fade. That would be
Tommy.
my pick.
I think
Tommy,
you're getting
you're
right
rugging
again.
too much today.
Again.
You're frozen, Lance.
Oh,
He was going to bring up Nvidia. I could tell he was going to bring up Nvidia.
I know. He's
The
going to
the burger internet,
No, he-
man. The
the
burger
VIX.
internet.
It was the VIX. Check the VIX. He was going to say the VIX. Check it.
He was going to say the VIX. It was VIX or Nvidia.
It was probably both. This
was
is
both.
thing
Bro,
knows.
he better not bring the VIX up, or we're gonna go to town on the VIX.
He's
All
gonna
right?
bring up the VIX.
We are
so.
gonna absolutely. The VIX is the worst metric in the world. We are gonna
I
go
mean,
to
the
town
VIX
on
is
the
kind of
VIX.
chatting right now, but I
New
don't think
highs
it's going to
coming
last
for
too long.
weeks.
I am
Who
back.
did it
let's,
foreseen?
I am back.
Tommy, I swear, if you bring up the VIX, bro,
I'm bringing up volatility.
we are gonna throw hands on the VIX. Okay.
We are
All right.
going to get a spike on the VIX. I've been saying that we are going to get this. And I would not be in a rush to fade volatility when it's about to make another fresh high on back-to-back weeks. I mean, that's just what I would say on that matter. It's a pretty clear inflection point between the downtrend and support. And I do think eventually it's going to lead to, and we talked about this on shows before, like me and Will have talked about this pretty in depth before. It will eventually just bleed back into the ether. But I think before that, you're going to get a spike. I don't know what that means yet.
You're getting a spike, right? I mean,
Yeah, the spike has already happened.
This isn't a spike.
This is indeed spike.
Tommy, can you
This is
identify
not
the
the spike.
resistance, the trend resistance? For me real
well,
quick?
I mean, this is I mean, maybe you think it's breaking out, right? But looking at these two charts, right? VIX up top, Nasdaq down below. I mean, you can see pretty clearly the relationship between our current trend and the VIX, right? It's we'll mark it out with some dots for people, right? Potentially here, same kind of normie trend line here on the VIX, which would suggest maybe we have a little bit more to go, maybe VIX up to like 18-ish. But the Nasdaq is in an uptrend where we're making higher lows, and the VIX is in a downtrend where we're making lower highs. So I would say if you are expecting the Nasdaq to lose its trend, and like go much deeper, then I think you could prospect the VIX going up. But there is a pretty clear trend between the two right now.
For sure. I think what we were discussing yesterday is basically that we see, or maybe like 2 days ago or something, that we see WIXI going higher while equities still go lower. But then I agree that we probably bleed back down once again, where equities bounce back up. They slow grind up once again, but sooner, or like not in a distant future, I do believe that trend is going to break on both. But locally speaking, that is kind of already playing out. That higher for WIX and lower for equities.
Yeah. I mean, you probably just see continuation of this right here. Like, in my opinion, you probably get this, and then you probably just get one more monster bounce out of the Nasdaq. Like, it's probably just going to do this. Like, here, we'll just fractal it. Oops, that's not going to work. And you probably just see like this, and then
I think the fractal goes from slightly higher. Sorry, the downtrend on WIX goes from slightly higher up from like January 2022. I think that's more
like
better
over here.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would use the January 2021 maybe.
January 2021.
Yeah.
That's like here. Wait, that's 2022. You're saying
Are you on
Janu-
log or you're on log?
yeah.
He's on log jackets. Come on now.
So January 2021
He's
Yeah.
always
is right here.
Oh, sorry, 2022. Sorry.
Okay, right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
I think you can connect the upper wicks better. Upper. Yeah. No, lower slightly. Just touch the latest one. Yeah. There.
Yeah,
I think this
like
lines
that.
up. Something like this, right? Like spike into it, maybe slightly above, maybe a little below. The Nasdaq goes slightly lower, then we get another bleed lower, where stocks slowly curl back up. Again, like when I say stocks, I mean equities. Obviously, there will be individuals that do nothing. There will be individuals that shoot up in the time period. And then I think that we will be hitting a topping formation. I think we are already hitting a topping formation on equities, more or less, over like the next year or so.
Yeah. That's an interesting trend there. I mean, I guess I don't really know what to make of it other than like if it starts to break, like then you would look at it like I would,
Yeah.
Something like this, right? Like if we go back to when things kind of hit the fan and we popped over here, I would look at this like if you get a break of trend, right? Like we did over here, where we actually get above the previous highs and we break our diagonal, look where that lined up with equities, right? As soon as you break that trend, that's your top, So if we see something like this, but over here, and you finally see like that break of trend, it doesn't mean it's over immediately, right? But like if you get above like this high,
Yeah.
that's a problem. That's a problem.
Something like that, indeed.
It's going to happen, in my opinion. But
like right now, Tommy, you think that's
I
happening?
think it happens this week, realistically, or over the next week and a half. I don't think Nvidia is setting a low here. It does not look like a bottoming structure, and I think that's going to contribute to the rise in volatility into the end of the week.
To be fair, has Nvidia ever looked like it actually painted like a clear bottom? The entire cycle so far, it's given fake outs to the downside, right?
That's true. I just think that we've formed complacency from this recent, I guess you could call it a topping pattern almost, because we did almost, more or less top from a parabola. And my contention has been, because a lot of people assume that Nvidia can go sideways from here. My contention is that Nvidia has been in a literal parabola for effectively 2 years, or at the very least for at least a year. So it's not really the type of thing where I think you go sideways and chop. I think you're either continuing to defy gravity, or gravity is going to, step in and maybe like slam you a little bit. And that's I kind of think that's where Nvidia is at right now.
But Tommy, from March to April of this year, it went sideways. It went sideways. It pulled back 22%, but it went side. There we go. Right. You went sideways. You pulled back 22%. That would take us back to about this trend line, a 25% pullback. You could technically do that and not study gravity, right? You could do that. Like you were still in a parabola, and then you did that. Like
what if the parabola keep paraboling?
You could. It's just not my expectation. At the very least, I think we need to see Nvidia. I think we need to see Nvidia carve out that bottom over the next week and a half and not dump any further than that, because we were kind of talking about this. The equity window of weakness is until effectively the 1st or 2nd of the next month. So Nvidia is not going to have any flows to be able to support it until then. So it has to show strength into that date. Otherwise, I think it can continue to slide.
I don't think it needs to show strength. I think it needs to show an unwillingness to break down when it needs to. It just needs to be stubborn.
I would beg to differ on that because I know a lot of portfolios and a lot of 401ks that flow into Nvidia. I don't think that there's any scenario where flows are not flowing into Nvidia.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
More,
They
you
come
see
in at
less?
the beginning of the month. They come in at the beginning of the month, Will.
That's enough to float it. That's enough to float it. That's plenty enough to float it.
That's 2 weeks, though.
That's like
that's
a
soon.
week. That's
A
like
week and a half. A lot can happen in a week and a half.
Look, I'm not expecting 2008 or 1927 to happen tomorrow.
Look at the weekly. Let's look at the weekly.
That's not what I'm saying either. I just think we have an asset that's breaking down from its parabola and could come down a lot more quickly than people realize.
So, Tommy, you are correct. Nvidia is 100% in a parabola. I think our best case for Nvidia is probably something like Jackus drew this morning in the Discord. Honestly, like you.
Wait! Don't draw it. All right.
Okay, we won't draw it. Basically, it would be trend line make bounce where Tucker has, and then you put in a very predatory, drawn out distribution somewhere above where we've currently topped out. I feel as though that would probably bode the best with how long it can take for a ship to turn around. And even if we want to study like a perfect parabola, right? Like, I think we could all agree the most perfect textbook parabola of all time was Bitcoin in 2017, right? That shit was beautiful. Tucker, maybe we could put the 2017 parabola up to show, like, from a timing perspective, how long it could take for it's not like forever, right? But it's not in an instant. It takes a while. Even if it's off of the highs, it takes a while to actually break down. Like, zoom in on the 2017 parabola, Tucker. Maybe line the days up so it's not like 1 day and 2 weeks.
What are we even talking about here?
What are we even talking about?
So go to 2017 and let's see, like,
look at this. Let me remove all this. Look at how many times.
Like the whole audience thinks I'm a pessimist and a perma bear, like, as if I don't have the highest cyclical targets of the entire panel. Like, it's just really annoying that I have to continue to address this point because people get upset that I'm bearish locally. Like, I am literally the biggest bull on a 3 or 4 year time horizon of the entire panel. And people keep calling me like a pessimist and a perma bear, and it is annoying, I will say, guys.
I know how you feel, Tommy.
I didn't want to rant about it. I'm sorry, but, like, come on, guys.
Yeah, it's what I was discussing this morning as well, right? Like the world we live in right now it doesn't want to hear middle opinion. It doesn't want to hear like arguments. It doesn't want to listen to those. It just wants to, like, you are either on the left or you are on the right. You are either with us or you're against us. There is no middle ground, right? And like what Tommy is saying, he's like, and me too, right? Like we are putting in different types of data, debating them, and it's just not allowed right now.
Well, Jack, hang
on. First of all, Tucker, you're not drawing this right. I'm going to critique you in a second. To Tommy and Jackus, who are more mid-time frame cautious than the rest of the panel, you guys can't act surprised when people are taking this kind of posture with you, even if it's not fun to see,
fine.
Right?
That's fine, but don't frame me as like a pessimist or like a perma bear. It's like frame it how it is, which we are situationally cautious and situationally bearish. I mean, it's like I said, I literally have the highest cyclical targets of anybody on this panel. And that's not an understatement. I definitely do.
Yeah. What are your cyclical targets?
I hear you.
Like
I hear
500,000 Bitcoin, brother.
I hear you guys.
What are you
guys
debating about?
I hear you.
I don't hear anything.
You take
you guys can't call for
everyone is talking above each other. I don't hear a single thing.
Let's get back to the charts. If you can't take the criticism from the comments, then don't be bearish. It's crypto and trading. If you're bearish, you're gonna get destroyed by the comments. People hate bears. Come on, like, I know it's annoying to see, but like, let's talk about the charts. If you don't want to be critiqued, then literally just like downplay your actual feelings, even if that's not the most honest way to go about it. Like, you guys have been around long enough, especially you, Jackus. If you turn bearish, people hate you immediately, right? So you have to know you're going to get that smoke,
the
even
thing
if it's
is
logical.
the thing is, you do not even turn bearish, is what Tom is saying, right?
No, but you are locally bearish, is what you are saying. Like, you're locally bearish.
It
That's
can't be
true.
claimed. Yeah, it can't be. You can't call for 50% nukes on crypto and be like, I'm bullish. All right, you can't. I don't care.
Let's talk about this fractal here. We wanted to talk about a parabola. Tucker, you don't have this drawn correctly, in my opinion. Zoom back out on the Bitcoin one, because what you need to consider here is that the first Nvidia circle you have in white, that happened above the all-time high. I think you should align that with Bitcoin as well. So zoom out on Bitcoin.
Get on the 3-day.
See how you need to, yeah. You see what I mean?
Up here.
Yeah, well, or maybe your second green square, right? Like, that could be that region.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that was a big chop zone. Slightly different, right? But
yeah.
Like, that could be,
yeah.
But I guess, like, yeah.
Or
so exactly.
It's one of these two.
Like, it doesn't matter.
But
which
my
one
point
it
is,
we're going
even if Nvidia is at the top, which, by the way, I don't really think it is, but if it was, look at how long it took for it to actually, like, fall back down aggressively. Like, you had a big drop for Bitcoin, okay, and then you had a huge, like, complacency shoulder bounce. It takes a while for, like, shit to really hit the fan off of a parabola. It doesn't just go like V, like V down, right? Like, you'll be off the highs quite a bit, but it's not gonna, like, nuked 70% in like a week or something. This thing happens over months.
Yeah, it literally takes it takes an entire year for the bear market to fill out. I just want to point out real quick, for those of you who feel like you're feeling the heat, I've been an enemy of the state with the comment section since the beginning of 2023.
So,
okay,
guys, I don't even trade equities, but wouldn't a bottom for Nvidia be like the March top? Like, sub 100, people freak out. BTC maybe, like, pumps to like 75K, 77, retraces to these levels, and that's it. What's going on here, man? It's either max bullish or max bearish. There's no in between.
Look at 25K, the entire panel.
Look who's up, who's awake. I'm actually.
Here you guys go. This is all everybody needs to see. It's a debate. There are going to be some people that agree with you, and there are going to be some people that hate you. But you have to know, if you adopt even a low time frame bearish posture, you're always going to get attacked no matter what. And that smoke is coming. But this is the truth, guys. This is it.
No, but that was not the case in 2023. In 2023, who was the one getting attacked at 25K Bitcoin? It was me.
Will, I was attacking
on the
you,
long
Will.
side.
Me,
but the comments were the comments were attacking.
I regret nothing about it, Will. I was short from 30K with Snorkel, and it was epic. Okay,
everybody was shooting
gotten
for
a breakdown
22.
We should have gotten a breakdown 22
and 10. And I was like, you guys aren't getting it. And everybody told me I'm an idiot.
Will, you mean me and you were on spaces with like 5 macro guys, and they were all calling for SPX at 3,200 in October.
And Bitcoin at 10K. I wasn't having it.
People who don't even trade crypto were calling for BTC to 10K. It was
literally I felt like everybody was on me. And I was just, I don't care. I thrive. I thrive on your anger, on your fear. That's what I thrive on. So just go ahead and be mad at me.
Isn't it crazy, guys, how like Sol is green and ETH is red? That is like that is such a shocker, man.
The W formation on Sol play,
Bobby.
Dude, it's honestly crazy, man. It's honestly quite insane. Like, some things that I hold on Sol are green, while ETH is just like doing nothing. I don't know what's going on here, man. I guess it's sort of like, be careful of who you let in this market, right? Like, I remember in 2017, like right before the futures launched, like right when I got in the market, some guy from the CME or CBOE, I forgot which one, he's like, we don't want to like, destroy Bitcoin. We want to tame it, right? And after these ETFs, like, the price action has been a little bit different, right? Like, we've never had Bitcoin consolidate for 4 months, basically, like 4+ months at this point. And we're coming into August, and it's like something's got to give, man. Like something big is coming, and at this point, like even if you don't trade stocks, you already know Nvidia is basically on the path to probably have like some capitulatory bottom. And what does that mean for crypto, right? Probably it means some sort of lag effect, and ETH has to move here, and it has to move now, or else like bulls do run out of time, in my opinion.
No, they just go to Solana, man. They just go to Solana. They sell their ETH, they go to Solana.
Did you guys hear today that they're going to make the inverse of pump.fun? You're actually going to be able to short things that are on pump fun. You're going to be able to basically have derivatives on all these meme coins that aren't listed on like Bybit perps or anything like that. That's going to be crazy, man. But I do think, right, like with all these mega cap tech earnings, we're probably due for like a huge bounce like we did last year in July, right? If you guys remember that, like I think Jackus, when you first came on the show, when I had you on in July of last year, that was the day when XRP pumped by 100%. Tucker, if you want to pull up the XRP chart, you're just going crazy on Nvidia, brother. If you go back last year to like July 15th, you'll see that XRP had like a 100% daily candle. And if you go back to every single altcoin around that time frame, like Rollbit, Unibot, etc., ticker Bitcoin, they all went on like multi-week rallies, and that was it, right? And isn't it funny how like XRP right around the same time as last year has been rallying somewhat, right? And it actually looks good on the weekly, to be honest. But if you take a look at XRP, any single time there's some sort of outperformance with XRP, the market kind of like takes that as a doom signal, to be honest. But I think we have at least like 2 to 3 weeks left in this summer rally. But
so I have one thing,
and it's crazy, dude. Like every single local top has been categorized by XRP, like going up to the upside, and that's signal from like 2018 type stuff, right? But yeah, and I'll also say this, man, like if ETH pumps, you're gonna have things like Andy and Wolf go absolutely crazy. That's really
Hey,
like,
Bobby, sorry to catch you off, but I'm gonna ban Wonk for spamming some tickers in the chat, I suppose. What do you guys say?
Cheat him completely. Cheat him.
So Lewis had a point, and he was stating, I just wanted to kind of speak on that just for a second. He says Grayscale is selling. Somebody in the comments. Grayscale is selling 500 million BTC per day. So have you looked at Fidelity, who picked up 2,000 and something BTC on the 27th, as well as the other hedge funds that are pretty much eating all of Grayscale's sales and buying more than what they can sell. I think not enough people they love to. Oh, ETH.
He meant the new ETH ETF gave the Grayscale outflow, like, you know what I'm saying? Grayscale.
Yeah. Grayscale has been an outflow the whole cycle for these new ETFs.
Though yesterday at least. So.
Yeah, I think they had 1 billion inflows the other day on open.
They
posted on it.
They had 1 billion in volume. They had 130 mil in inflows. Was net.
Billion in volume. Yeah, there you go. Okay. Yeah. I think looking at since he said ETH, that makes more sense. I think looking at that makes more sense. Now, I wanted to bring up one more thing. Somebody said in the comments, you guys are so-called analysts. Your wallet should be public. Yada yada yada. Let's interpret what an analyst is. Since we're in school,
bro, my wallets are
6th grade
public, man. I don't know what he's yapping about.
Well, here's the thing. Let's interpret an analyst for the kindergartners. An analyst gathers, interprets, and uses complex data to develop actionable steps that will help improve processes and optimize results.
Are you reading that off Google?
I'm literally reading it off Google. Anybody can look this up. All right, anybody can look this up. That means that we look at the market, we judge the market based on what we see, and we interpret it and give you the information. Doesn't require any type of genius to do it. You just have to put in the time and get good at it. That doesn't say anything about showing you my wallet, which I have disclosed my wallet in the past. It just says I interpret like the weatherman and tell you what the market is. So now we can get back to the charts.
Do the charts, brother.
Tucker, you mentioned that some of us are expecting minus 50%. Who is expecting that?
Well, I don't know. Man.
I mean, how much did Bitcoin go down?
Not yet. Yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
Hagrid, I have a question for you. Now that we're all asking questions to Hagrid, Hagrid, can I ask you about the long end and what that means for all digital assets?
Yeah, man. Totally. Let's talk about the long end.
Hang on, is this Max from Market Check here on the panel?
Hey, wow.
I forgot. Is this like the Max from Market Check?
You want a signature?
I'll do autographs after the show, Wabi. All right, I promise.
What do we low key think?
Can you autograph my monitor, Max?
Yes, no problem.
What do we think about it, huh?
I don't know, brother. You tell me.
Yeah.
Man.
Why does it look like?
I think it's about to collapse, but I think it's going to be like a little more drawn out than people expect, unfortunately.
No, it's been already drawn out, Max, for a long time. And you know that the cut is coming September.
Exactly. Isn't it too obvious? It's the most predictable thing ever. They might make you wait until literally the day of the cut. That could be 2 months.
Yeah, that's possible. Yeah. I do not think so, because usually like the yields are front running. They are dictating the Fed funds rate anyway.
Let's look at the yield inversion real quick. Who's got control of the chart?
So if you're gonna look at the 2-year yield, you already see that it is selling off, which is signaling you that rate cuts are coming.
See this 3 months.
And the 3 months is selling. Oh, sorry.
That's the inversion.
Yeah, and the 3 months is selling now as well.
Yeah.
So that's basically a done deal now.
Yeah.
So isn't usually like a year after the Fed cuts, like isn't the stock market trading a lot higher? So maybe like after the first or second rate cut, maybe if like you're trying to have some exposure to the upside in the equity markets, maybe you can buy some leaps on Coin and Hood sometime in Q4. That would be pretty sweet, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Tussie, go ahead and rap. Send me the video.
Well, since we are on an inverted yield curve, this is the longest period since Great Depression that it was inverted for this long. And every single time, not every single time, there was one time it did not predict a recession, but every other time it has predicted it.
But
I do not think this should be taken lightly.
How would we even go into a recession if like things are so materially different than they were in previous recessions, where like there's like 2 to 3 jobs for every American?
Yeah.
I need to ask this question. Because this is I'm getting confused on the signaling here. Are we getting a short-term pullback, or are we going into a recession? I'm getting confused on what we're stating here.
I'm bullish as can be, brother, up until mid-August.
I need clear, and I'm not. That's not a stab. I need clarification, because I need to understand how to approach this conversation.
In my opinion, it's a short-term pullback. That's my view. Is that it's mostly short.
Okay. All right. What about yours, Jackus? Because like I'm getting mixed signals on the conversation.
So as I was saying, Will, like if you look at, for example, at 08, right, or so, it doesn't usually is like you go up and then you go down in a straight single line, unless it's like COVID type of situation. So it usually takes some time to rotate. And I think, and I said this many times, I think that equities will probably be rotating here too, where like it does the pullback it's currently doing, right? Then it probably, there's a good chance it comes back to new all-time highs, but like it won't really far exceed it anymore. It will more like be, topping around the current prices, and then sooner or later it will just roll over and fall off a cliff. But that time can take some time, and you essentially do not know the time. Like if you think about it, even Michael J. Burry from The Big Short was very early. He was early like 2 maybe nearly 3 years. He got it right. He made big bang on it, but he was very early. I do not think we are like that far from it as years, but eventually nobody knows the timing. It's like, again, it's like if you
But
bought BTC at
Can you
20 in 2022, right?
can you
In
guys
June,
can you guys
wait,
guess
wait,
what are the top
wait,
gainers today?
Hang on, Wabi. Hang on, Wabi. Let him finish.
if you bought BTC at 20K 2022, you were ridiculed. You were labeled as stupid because it was a bear market, it's going to collapse. And then guess what? 5 to 6 months later, FTX happened, which was a completely unexpected event, and it went from 20K to 16K. And everyone laughed at you. But guess what? Nowadays, we are trading at prior cycle all-time highs. And anyone who made those buys at 20K is basically a genius. But it took some time to turn around, right? Basically 2 years. And that's exactly the fact that can be here with equities, is that like you do not know essentially if like you make another spike up higher, right? That's possible. But I do think that we are at the topping formation. I do hope that kind of does explain where I'm standing.
From what I'm gathering, and I'm genuinely asking questions. Like I'm not poking or prodding. What I'm gathering is that you're saying the cycle is nearly topped for equities, and that equities are probably in a distributive formation or distributive zone, and that even if they go higher from here, it's not going to be much higher, and that pretty much your upside is limited, and that it may be better to just deleverage and not even bother with the market as opposed to be in it. And that Bitcoin can go higher, or Bitcoin's distributive too. Like I guess, does that kind of make sense? I'm just trying to gather what your thought process is here.
Yeah, so that's my take on equities. And when it comes to BTC, I like, again, as I said, I think locally the price is bullish, and I remain macro bullish. And I think that it can, like, I think like right now there are good chances 50-50 that we can still have a dip to like 49, right? That's still in my opinion open, but because it's very hard to really tell right now. But like, because like on the weekly you are getting another lower high, but on the daily you have clearly reclaimed the range, right? And you have lots of other factors coming in. So like locally, it's very one of those very rare times when it's super hard to predict. But I do think that like with that scenario I outlined for the equities, right? So that can happen similar way to gold in the past decade when, well, the decade before, when it was in a bull market since the beginning of the century. And then there came 08, right? 08 was a big recession for equities, but what gold has done was just a bull market pullback. It was a big pullback, right? It pulled back with it, but then it continued to rally until 2012. So it was in a bull market for 12 years, basically. So what can happen in this time is that I do think that BTC can easily go up to like 100, 110, right? Then the recession really comes, and whether that comes like straight from here or whether we dip to 49K, I really like, I'm open to it. I have to watch the local levels. Now if it comes to 110 or so, again, it's an approximate area, we will have to go level by level, you know how it goes. But from there I could see a scenario where the recession hits, BTC does pull back similar to gold in 08, it retests like 80K and then continues its bull market way higher, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So you think the top is closer to 110 before the next bear market, or do you think it'll go higher before the next bear market actually occurs? You know, the 3 up, 1 down kind of scenario.
Yeah, so my current take again is that I do think that BTC has time to still go higher. And then I do think when a recession in equities comes in, and I think gold rallying to its fresh all-time highs after all-time highs and breaking a decade-long cup and handle is just another sign of confluence of things shifting in the global structure and how nations are playing the cards. So I do think that BTC has been made up for times like this, right? But when there is a market downturn or uncertainty, all markets get affected, but the magnitude differs. So again, as I use the example of gold in '08, you can see that gold pulls back 33%, which is a wild pullback for gold. But in a, if you pull up the chart, it's actually just been a bull market pullback, and then it continued high. So similarly, I can see BTC going to again, and that number is more like made up, right? Like I can give you estimates based on Fibonacci's, but at the end of the day, you would have to go there level by level. But let's say it goes to 90, 110K. I think that is reasonable, right? We will say, hey, we made it to 100K. Then there is the recession. BTC pulls back, but it's holding way stronger than equities, right? Because it's a different market. Equities find its bottom, and BTC finds its bottom earlier, and that bottom can be around 80K on the retest. I think essentially, if we are going to look back at this macro time frame range, going back all the way from beginning of 2021, we will just see a giant reaccumulation, right? Like this is a big accumulation cycle, again, going back to 2021, 22, 23, 24. And I do not think that we will be going sub this range in the future.
Study the move index. Study it.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that, Jack. I just wanted to kind of clarify, so in case anybody else may have gotten confused. You go, Max. I think you were gonna.
No,
I can cook.
I mean, no, I first of all, if you're in the comments trolling, you're a clown. This is a free show. You don't have to troll anybody on this panel. You don't live in some alligator infested moat, It's you don't get to have all the insulation and protection you want. You say some bullshit, you get booted, Be nice, be a good guy. You can disagree. But here's the thing, nobody cares if you disagree. You keep it to yourself. You tune in, you get information. You say some bullshit, sayonara, baby.
Max, just quickly, I hear all right, there are always going to be some stupid comments from people, and all right, just ignore them. But I want to tackle this, right? So Emilio saying you can't trade a 50-50, pick a direction. I know this is a losing trader. This is a loser mentality, because see Tommy, see what he's doing there. He's saying you always have to pick a direction. You always have to be in a trade. No, you don't. If you know that the market is not giving you an edge, and sometimes it's not going to, you just have to play it conservatively.
That's a solid point.
This is what newbies don't get, and that's why you get stupid comments like that.
Correct.
I want.
Go ahead. There's a lot to it. This is, look, I haven't been trading for 5 decades, okay? But I have been trading for a while. And I've spent a lot of time studying what has happened. So I would say hindsight is not as good as actually living through it, but I've done my research. This is a very, very strange time to be in financial markets. When you have so much evidence suggesting that there are two 180-degree complete polar opposite type of moves that could happen. You've got one crowd that could give you 10 reasons as to why the top is close and it's over. And I could point out another group of, 10 guys who could give you 10 reasons why, we're going to literally melt upward. Right. And both could potentially be right. It's all about time frames. So the beauty of this show is that we do have a mix of opinions and views. And we are all articulate enough to, really dive in and explain, and then you guys can make decisions on your own for what you want to do, right? But Tucker, you have an interesting chart here. Maybe you want to narrate this quick, and I kind of have to hop off because I told you my keyboard died and I need to go get a charger. Otherwise, I have no keyboard the rest of the day. I've been using a mouse for the past hour. But Tucker, you should explain this. This is an interesting perspective here.
Yeah, I think even more so than studying the yield curve is just studying bond market volatility, right? And that's just the move index. And it's nothing it's nothing crazy, it's nothing super profound, right? But you can pretty clearly see that when you get the move index up, you get equities down. And this move index chilled going straight down for a decade, and equities were up only for a decade, right? In 2022, you had a shift in trend, right? You had the move index trend back up, break highs, chop, pop, and now it's kind of over. And you saw the bottom form before we had the last pop on it, but it's fading again, in my opinion, right? Like if I'm just looking at it, let me just delete everything. If I'm just looking at it, like you've re-entered this territory where you just do this for a long time.
Tucker, man, but we've also had two major crashes back to back in 2 years. We had actually no 3 crashes. We had the 2018 like what was it, the Fed hike debacle or whatever, where Trump was angry at Powell and the market was relentlessly nuking, if you remember, in 2018, the second half. Then we had 2020, and then we had 2022. And in 2022, people honestly forget, but you had premium companies like Facebook retrace all the way till their 2015 stock market levels. Same thing with Netflix and a ton of other tech companies as well. And I mean, if we just take a look at the Qs right now, if we repeat the same downturn that we did during the second half of 23 and Q3 to early Q4, that drawdown was about 11%, which would take the Qs down to like 440-ish, right? That's like another 5% move down, and that's when everybody loses their shirt. So, and if you think about it, right, like Democrats, they typically don't let the market nuke relentlessly for too long, right? Like if you just take a look even at 2022, right, most of the drawdown came in 2 periods, right? From April to June, and then from like September to October, and that was it, right? You only had a few weeks because tech stocks rallied like crazy throughout that summer. And then they had that little, if you guys remember the Ukraine war bounce from like January to March, if you remember that, where SPX was like 1% away from hitting an all-time high, but it didn't. So, as far as the equity markets go, unless I don't know, we go to war, there's nothing to be worried about, to be frank. And for crypto, like Max Payne for crypto is literally just continuing to hang around these levels until Q4, right? I mean, maybe like a deviation above 74K, and that's it, because we're running short on time here, man. This is the dollar cost averager's dream, to be honest. This is a dollar cost averager's dream. And like people get so bored in crypto, they draw the most ludicrous scenarios. Like I remember in 2019 when we started doing nothing after that first rate cut. For like 2 months, we were doing nothing except bouncing from like 7 to 9K. You can pull up the chart, by the way. I remember that price action, pretty much every price action over the last 6 years to a T. We had that first rate cut in late July, and then we did nothing until September. We nuked, and then we did nothing until the other rate cut, and then we had that bounce from November all the way until February. So, and people want to draw the most ridiculous targets on both the upside and downside, where it's like nothing too crazy is going to happen this cycle that didn't happen in prior cycles, and there's no COVID black swan event. That's why it's called the black swan, brother. You know what I'm saying?
Nobody can predict it. It's called a black swan for a reason.
Yeah.
It's like you can try and pre-predict those things, but I think the likeliness of you actually hitting it is luck. I mean, even Burry, I know that was brought up today too. And what he did at the time was genius, and he leveraged right and correct. But these are like one-hit wonders.
Will, but there's no. I think the difference is like there's no like subprime mortgage craze that's going on.
There's not.
You're not seeing people like people are becoming realtors and all that stuff because it's like you can become a realtor.
There is no subprime mortgage going on, but there is the largest unrealized losses in history. It's actually 10 times bigger than it was in 2008. It's just in different sector.
Yeah, but that'll get bigger though.
It's with corporate sectors, right? Like commercial real estate, empty buildings, all that stuff. That was a conversation that was being spoken about in 2022. And it's like, it's because after COVID, right, people are used to working from home now. Like there's no reason why there should be a bunch of offices when you can just do it all from your computer. Right.
Yeah, like, but the thing is that the loans are still out there, and once like they're sorry, I forget the English word for it, but like when the time runs out, they will have to refinance them, and at that point, if like the real estate firms that build those commercial real estate, they won't be able to they do not have anyone inside of them, that the banks that lended them the money, right, they won't be receiving new money because these firms will not be able to pay them because no one is inside using them. And they are sitting right now on these unrealized losses because those loans that they made back then are worthless right now. So it may or may not become something, but the risk is pretty big right now.
At some point, but Jackus, wouldn't the caveat to that be like we have so much inventory on the market that like the unrealized stuff doesn't really outweigh the amount of like growth that has happened over the last 15 years? And plus, like by the time that happens, they could just refinance because rates would be a lot lower and there will probably be some form of QE going on.
No, the rates are way higher than they were in the last decade. That's the problem.
Well, no.
Wabi just turned Jack.
but we're getting ready to lower rates. That's the thing too. So if their refinancing happens after rates get lower, they actually get a better price, than they would have when rates were higher. And I think that's what a lot of these companies are probably holding out for. The only thing I could see, I don't see a world where they don't pay because they can't pay, but I do see a world where maybe they don't pay because they don't want to pay. Right? Like I think that could be a scenario where they outright refuse to pay their loans, and that could cause some kind of substantial issues in the bank. But that's kind of like shooting blanks in the dark, guessing that that's going to occur. I would almost think that contractually they could be forced into paying it regardless of whether they want to or not. These companies are not losing money; they're not bleeding money. So why would they not have the ability to pay for the buildings that they own, even if they're worthless? Like they could try and offload them if somebody will buy them, maybe sell them at losses, but it doesn't mean that they're necessarily going to go under.
That's the problem, that they would have to like sell them at a loss, and lots of these banks have losses like around 50% of their entire.
No, but it's not the bank. The bank wouldn't have to sell at the loss. It would have to be the company that got the loan that had to sell the loss.
The stocks today are going like zero bid today, bro. That's kind of.
Yeah,
I think we're kind of front running. I see Tommy about to crack a smile. But I think we might be front running a bit of like the September sell off. But like, dude, I still remain the same, bro. Like mid-August, dude. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna fly out to Kansas. I'm gonna go ahead and chill on a ranch for a week. That's what I'm going to do because I'm not going through the September seasonality. I will tell you what.
Wabi, you should go to a place like Wyoming, brother.
I should go to a place
trying
like
to be
Denver.
like totally.
I love that. I love Denver. Denver's the city of dreams, man. I had such a great time a few months ago in Denver, bro. It was such a great time.
Yeah, but in the beginning of the year, I actually spoke like we were going to get tax loss harvesting. This was spoke about. And that's exactly what I think is occurring here. I don't think this is a scenario where everything ends and everything tops. I think we're getting tax loss harvesting and people that are selling at realized losses to be able to offset their wins. And you tend to see, I'll put this out there. I'm not going to say they will or they won't. you tend to see markets that sell off during taxless harvestings buy right back in after they take the losses. So like these things bounce right back from these sell-offs.
Will, you know what we need, man? We need Gavin Newsom to be a Democratic nominee. That way everybody knows that no matter what the outcome, money printing is going to happen in a few months.
Money printing is going to happen regardless of
Gavin. Dude, Gavin Newsom would
it wouldn't go to us
the COVID
if it was
stimulus
Gavin.
look like a warm-up, bro.
He would write every bill to go to straight California. You wouldn't see a single bill hit on their state.
Like everybody would be on UBI, to be honest, bro. I see that happening in like the 2030 plus election, right? Like 2032 or whatever, 2036. Like UBI is going to be a thing in 10 years, in my opinion, bro.
I don't really believe that. Like AI bros will tell you that UBI is like 2 or 3 years away. I think that's utterly ridiculous. But I do think it is.
Tell me,
it is probably.
Did you guys see Taco Bell DeFi? I mean, not DeFi, but it's called Taco Bell DeFi. Taco Bell TEFY, and basically they have a few spots open already, and machines work in the building, right? And all you do is you press a few buttons, and within 2 minutes you drive up to like the thing or whatever, and it just pops up through you. Like when you go to a bank and you ask for a withdrawal or you deposit and you go through the drive-through or whatever, just like that. It's automatic. So it's like, you know, there are some sectors that are going to be replaced by AI/automation, but I just think it's in the next like decade or so, probably during like generation beta. They're the generation that's going to be born from like 2025 to 2036, probably during their generation, to be honest.
Generation beta, that's a terrible name.
Yeah, they're not going to know. Look, generation beta isn't going to have they're not going to have the skills to gritty and mog.
Oh my God.
They're not going to have the willingness to drink their grimace shakes and get their protein in, you know. They don't know how to tap their fedora. They don't know how to tip their fedora with Riz. You know what I'm saying? And that's the skill to dominate these markets. Your level of Riz has to be above Chamath Halapapatia's line, you know. And everybody knows that he's a Sigma. He's a real Sigma. That
Didn't
knows
he talk about Tau?
That
I
is
saw he talked about Tau
disgusting.
this week.
Yeah, about Bit Tensor.
He did?
He did, yeah.
He did.
He's like,
I'd stop paying attention to it. Maybe it's time. Well, okay, maybe not right now.
Maybe not quite yet. Yeah.
Dude, the hack for BitTensor, dude, was like, I think that was like a huge bottom, but yeah, Chamath really set that local top, didn't he, bro? That was crazy.
I remember when he was I remember everybody got so triggered with how he was talking about how excited he was talking about dumping on people when Sol was over like $200 because he was in, I think, like the 30-cent seed round.
Well, I just want to say this one thing. Like, the one thing that's worked for me over time, and I think it's the simplest way to look at these markets. The simplest way is the 3 years up, 1 year down. And I think, like, from a macro perspective, that always wins. And I look at this like, you know, we could see some downturn here. We could definitely see some volatility. We could definitely see some volatility. But I think ultimately, at least that first year after even Biden, that first year after his presidency, we still saw an up market. We still saw the market rise beyond that positioning, and I think we're going to see it again. And I say even Biden because I don't know who's really running the show there, but yeah. Anyways, moving forward from that, you know, I think that even with that whole presidency thing, I think that with markets running with him being in office, like, that's telling that the market doesn't give a shit who's in office. They're just going to bid into that first year and then dump on your shit the following year, right? And I think that same thing, regardless of who becomes president here, I know everybody's in favor of Trump. I know that the favor in numbers is in favor of Trump, but regardless of who becomes president here, I think that you'll see that 1 year up still continue to play out into the presidency, and then you're going to get absolutely shit on after that. So 3 years up, 1 year down.
I think
I don't
any
think that
downside
Biden
that's
is running anything though. Not
Dude,
even
That's why I didn't go any
It's-
further with that.
As long as we don't get phantom taxed on our coins, I'll be great, bro. As long as I can still buy a Grimace Shake for under $5.
Oh my god.
and a Travis Scott burger the Aki way. All right. As long as the price of food remains stable, right? I think we'll be good. But I think Big Haggard has that under control, bro.
Zep in the comments, bro. I'm not even gonna say it, but
Who?
Look at Zep, ZHEP.
Probably, bro. Probably. Rickator can't handle the brain rot. Welcome to the brain rot multiverse, brother. On Skibbity, dude. On Skibbity.
Skibbity.
Yeah, dude. We're gonna play a Skibbity toilet clip closing out Market Check, and we're gonna have a rebrand from Market Check. And I spoke about this with Tucker, by the way. Starting in Q4, right, of next year, Market Check is gonna be rebranded to Market Cap.
Bro, if you guys think Wabi is crazy on the show, like you guys haven't met him in real life, man.
Exactly.
You have not met him
That's
in
the
real
thing.
life.
IRL is like
Spend a weekend with Wabi. We're gonna do a new reality show, Weekend with Wabi. So we're gonna call it. Tucker's gonna be the moderator. Weekend with Wabi.
He's always a moderator. He's the chaperone, dude.
That's true.
He's the chaperone.
Somebody has to do it, man. Somebody. has to.
Yeah. But what are you guys thinking about today's equity price action? We're seeing right now, like a lot of people are bidding low caps and letting their Mag 7 just fall off a cliff here.
I think you'll probably see this weakness persist, but by the start.
Oh, no.
Oh, he's rugging again.
No, I mean, come back. I'm leaving. Come back. Look at him.
He's like Ek, D's,
Oh gosh,
and then gone.
Oh, brother. So Tucker, I guess we can talk about the long end again, right?
No, we're not.
Call me pump.fun the way I'm just
Skibbity doo dah.
Dude, those guys are making so much money. Like out of all the protocols in crypto that don't have a token, Maestro and pump.fun are like the most profitable like crypto apps this entire time.
What is this?
God, Jack.
What is this? Change it, please.
This is the market today.
Dude.
No, I was saying, Wabi, I think you see this persist into next week, and then on the 1st and 2nd of next month, you see supportive flows come back to equity. So I think by then, all of the equity downside should probably, I mean, it really should be finished by then.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
And then we take profits in August, and then we set up the next team field trip.
Tommy,
Save the market at the bottom in September or October, like we did last year. That was epic, wasn't it?
are you saying, Tommy, shit's gonna absolutely fly the beginning of next month? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know if it'll fly, but I will say, if you have any outsized downside within the next like 2 weeks, I do think the response will be something that probably, like QE, to probably benefit markets.
One of us
ultimately serves as a tailwind.
One of us.
Over a longer time frame.
Tommy's trying to liquidate my calls. That's what he's trying to do. He's trying
Bro,
to
I got
liquidate
some
my
calls too.
You have a call with
Get 'em to
someone has a
zero.
call with who? With Margin or with Skibby?
With margin, man.
Oh my God.
Tommy is absolutely trying to margin call me here on all my longs.
All right, Tommy, call it. Call it.
Yeah, this is a good spot to be wrapping up the show. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. It was an interesting show, to say the least. I mean, we had a lot of interesting conversations over the last hour and a half. But we appreciate you guys as always for tuning in. But yeah, just to run through some things before we officially wrap up, guys, a reminder that we have launched our new hedge fund, BB Wealth Management. That is a fund designed to obviously capture the historic propensity for asymmetric returns to the upside in digital assets while also balancing the investment risk posed in any market. We are excited not just that we can trade it ourselves as a team, but obviously also that we can offer you guys, the community, the opportunity to participate as well. So if becoming an LP or an accredited investor is something that would interest you, we do have more information linked in the description below. Just reach out to us via email and we can no, that laugh was real, I promise. And we'll just we'll reach out to you as quickly as we can. Of course, we also have the BB Academy, guys, that we rolled out. I think it was about 2 or 3 months ago. Sometimes if you tune in for Market Check, you might get a discount. I say that. I know Tucker always cringes inside when I say it because I'm not the one in control of when we get to discount those BB Academies. But right now, I think the value, regardless of what price you're buying it at, is exceptional. Probably the best course on the market from a value standpoint. You get to learn from a multitude of traders on the team. And obviously, as you can see from Market Check, if you've been watching for, if you've been watching Market Check before, we all have, very, very different styles in how we approach the market, which I think is invaluable, honestly, when you're talking about really forming that educational base. Whether you're trying to take your trading to the next level, I really think it's probably the perfect course for you. And we do have that linked in the description of this video as well. Of course, guys, our programming, if you enjoyed Market Check today, like I said, it was kind of an interesting episode. But we will be back for another episode tomorrow. We are always live. Typical start time around 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we are live whenever the New York Stock Exchange on days where the New York Stock Exchange is open. So if it is your first time, welcome. We hope that you enjoyed the show and you tune in for more in the future. And if you are a regular, welcome back. We hope you enjoyed the show as always, guys. But yeah, we will see you for another episode of Market Check tomorrow. I almost said Market Chalk because I was getting ready to transition into Market Talk with the legendary King Wabi right above me. He is the host. He does a great job as always, guys, and he's always got some really great guests on. So make sure to tune in for that as well. We host those Twitter Spaces through our X.com account because Bitcoin. So make sure to tune in for those as well and stay subscribed so you can be notified not just when we go live, but also when we schedule those spaces in advance. But that is it for us, guys. We hope that you enjoyed the show, and we hope that you have a great rest of your day and your week. And like I said, I will see you guys bright and early tomorrow for another episode of Market Check. But thanks again, and y'all stay safe.